What is going on, everybody? Matitude22 back at you guys with another video. Not gonna do a review today, guys, because I I want to do some different stuff, and I really want to kind of try some different stuff, and not just kind of not just kind of do reviews all the time. Still do reviews, but do some other stuff. So I figured, guys, I'm gonna tell you, I've been collecting action figures for pretty much most of my life. Not consistently, not consist words, not consistently. Like, I collected when I was very small, and grew growing up, and there was a point where I stopped. There was, I think, a good, not as much as you might think, but maybe a little more than like some people who have really been doing this forever. I think a good almost maybe 10 years or so. Yeah, about probably 10 years, I'm going to say, maybe 12, where I didn't collect. And then I got back into collecting. So, I myself have been doing this a long time. I've seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things just collecting figures, just through this world. And I figured I would share some of my stories with you guys, and maybe you're gonna like this. Maybe you're gonna like this style of video. Maybe you're not. That's okay. You don't have to like it. But yeah, if you do, please like the video. 10 likes, guys. We're going for 10 likes. Is that a lot to ask? I don't know. 10 likes. I think we could do it. Again, make sure you let me know if you kind of like this. So I wanted to tell you guys, yes, this is, I should have said it at the start. So I'm going to call this series Adventures in Collecting. I don't know. That sounds pretty good. This will probably be like episode 1 of that. And like I said, I'll do more if you guys like it. If you guys like it, make sure you let me know. If not, then don't. I don't know. So I'm going to tell you guys how I basically stop, not necessarily stop collecting, but again, there was a point where I just kind of, I think it was when, well into high school. I think it was when I got to high school, maybe a little before, maybe like I was in like grade 7 and 8, um, maybe around there, maybe even grade 6. I remember there was just a point where one day my brother and I were kind of like, you know what, we kind of can't do this anymore, because we're getting older and we're getting into other stuff, uh, and that's kind of just what it was, and we were just kind of like, we just kind of made the decision like, all right, we're not gonna play with toys anymore. That's what it is. And like I said, I'll probably tell you guys some stories of when I was a kid, because I had a lot of crazy experiences as a kid collecting too. So again, if you like these style of video and you want it to keep coming, just make sure you let me know. Uh, anyway, so this was probably, I want to say, 10 years ago. So you know what? So I don't even think it was that long that I wasn't collecting figures. I think maybe it was like 4 years or 5 years. Um, but when I was younger, the collecting aspect wasn't really there, right? We would buy toy. My parents would buy me toys, and my brother, and we would just kind of play with them, and that's what it is. And that when that kind of stopped, once we were kind of old, and once we kind of felt we were too old that we had to kind of stop playing with toys, that's when we kind of just stopped buying figures, stopped. And I'm gonna tell you guys how I kind of got back into this. So just to set the stage, my girlfriend and I, we're still together today, and she's been a real champ, really supporting this hobby, really encouraging, which is always good. I think you don't have to agree with everything your spouse does, but you do certainly have to support them. I think that's very important, but I digress. We're not here to talk about that. Maybe that'll be another time. I don't know. We're at Walmart, and I think we were shopping. It's because we were moving. We were actually moving. out of our apartment, and we were kind of moving in with her parents, so we could kind of, because our plan was to kind of save money and eventually get our own house, which is what we kind of did. Um, so I think we were moving, and I think we were buying supplies. I think we were buying bins. I forget exactly. And she had to pick something up from the toy aisle because it was her nephew's birthday. It was her nephew's birthday coming up, or something to that degree. I don't really remember, but it was probably that. Uh, so we went to the toy aisle, and this is the first time I had seen a toy aisle really in a long time, in years. Like I said, like a good 5 or 6 years. So I remember we were looking, it's kind of funny because there's some things that you just kind of distinctively remember, and there's some things that I remember seeing, and nothing that I bought, but I intently remember it being there. Like it was there was a basics. I think it was basic. Again, I was out of figures, but there was the WWE. There was a Maurice figure. Um, I forget, it was a base. Maybe it was elite. Maybe it was basic. I don't remember, but I vaguely remember seeing that. And it was those old Marvel Universe figures. They came in the 2-pack with the comic. I remember seeing those. I remember Transformers Generations was still a thing. I remember seeing a lot of Generations figures there, because this was actually before Combiner Wars. Which is actually kind of, Combiner Wars is actually when I kind of jumped back into collecting Transformers. Again, a story for another day. And I remember seeing on the shelf, and something about this caught my eye, but it was actually, and I should have actually brought the figure up here for reference. That would have been good, but I didn't really plan on doing. I didn't really plan on doing this. I just was kind of like, all right, let me do this. It was the DC Universe Classics Series 20 White Lantern Flash, and I vaguely remember seeing it, and I was like, oh, this was kind of cool. I'm like, I like this, and I think they had somebody else. It was Red Arrow from the same wave, the Necron Build-A-Figure wave, and I remember seeing them, and I was like, okay, whatever, these are kind of cool. And it was actually her that was kind of like, well, like, listen, like, if you like them, just get them. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with them? But then I looked at the back, and I saw the concept of, oh, you collect all the figures, and you could build a figure. I thought that was interesting. Again, that was kind of my first time seeing a build a figure, because again, I was out of the game for a long time, guys. I cannot stress that enough. I cannot stress to you how much collecting in general I just missed. A good amount of stuff. But anyway, I digress. We're not here to talk about what I missed out on. We're here to talk about what I actually got. And I bought the Flash, and I bought the Red Arrow, and I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. We gotta try to build this guy. We gotta try to build this. And then I'm like, that's it. We're gonna be done after that. And I remember I was working one night, and she had gone out to do groceries, and she kind of she kind of met me at work. She came to my work after, because we were gonna bus home together, and well, she was at Walmart. She had happened to look, and she actually found two more figures from that wave. It was Green Arrow and Sinestro. Was it? Yeah, it was Green Arrow, Sinestro, and I think Reverse Flash, actually. So I think it might have been three. No, it was Green Arrow and Reverse Flash. So those two. And then by this point, I could feel it. I was there. I was excited. It's like, oh man, I was like, I can't wait to kind of build this guy. And I remember a couple weeks I was checking Walmart, and I wasn't really finding anything. Eventually, I did find the Sinestro, but I never found Hawk and Dove. I don't know if I missed them or whatever. I just never found Hawk and Dove at retail. And that's actually the first time I ordered something on eBay, which was crazy to me. Uh, it was crazy. Like back then, like I was super excited. I was like, this is very weird. I had never ordered something from eBay. I had bought online because I was big into like HeroClix. I was super into that, and then I traded the HeroClix because then I wanted to get back into figures. And actually, kind of what sparked the figures was being at the comic book store a couple years before that. I remember I stopped in there with a buddy of mine, and I remember seeing Legendary Comic Book Heroes Series 1 on the pegs. And I didn't pick them up because it wasn't my thing, but that's what kind of, I think, kind of put the spark in my head that, it made me think, it made me kind of consider this and be like, man, like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to get back into this. But it took me a while to get there. It took me a while to get there just because money was tight at that time. Our rent was very expensive. We weren't making a lot of money because she was in high school. I had just left high school. Uh, so we weren't, I was working part time, so we weren't making a lot of money. That's why we moved in with her parents. Again, I digress. Not really talking about that. So anyway, so ended up ordering Hawk and Dove on eBay, and that was it. That was my full Necron wave, and the feeling of completion. So that was really kind of it. From there, it was like, well, now what? Now Necron is complete, and I got that wave complete, and that was great. I was super happy about that. Sometimes I clap when I talk. I don't know why, but I just do it. It's weird, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe you do it too. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Uh, so then from there, it was kind of like, okay, where do we, Necron was wave 20, and it was wave 20. It might have been wave 21 actually. Anyway, it was the last wave, and we knew it was going to be the last wave because I did some research. I got into it. I was back. Like the bug had bitten me. So I tried to immerse myself into this world, just the DC Universe classics, because that's what I was just kind of into right now. Because like I just kind of got back into this, and I just kind of dipped my toes back into the water, and it felt great, and I totally immersed myself. And from there, my next stop, local comic book store, the same comic book store that I saw those Legendary Comic Book Heroes. I went back, and they had tons and tons of DC Universe classics that were being clearanced out because the line was ending. They were trying to get rid of them. They had tons of them, and I remember just buying tons. I remember walking out of there with like 20 figures, all kinds of different waves, and then just going home and going online and looking up different waves and being like, okay, so now I have this guy and I need these guys. And what a process, but what an exciting process. And I think that was really what I needed at that time in my life. I think I don't know, I think there was that hole, there was that collecting hole that just wasn't there. And this was just the time that it felt right to kind of get back into it. And like I said, Amanda was very supportive, and she encouraged me, and she participated. So really, I kind of owe all this to her. And I know she kind of looking back, she kind of always joke around and say, "Oh, I should have never told you to get those," you know. But I think that was just it, and I was back, and that's what it was. And then going to the comic book store, because now I was back. I was looking at figures, and then I saw Marvel Legends. And that's when the game really changed for me. That's when things really changed, because DC Universe Classics was one thing. Like I said, I was knocking out waves. I was comic book stores. I would go to thrift stores and find tons of them, and I was just knocking them out, knocking them out, knocking them out. I think I completed 3 or 4 more waves just at retail, just at comic book stores and thrift stores and collector stores. I think I completed 3 or 4 more waves, and that was it. I was back in. I was kind of back in this world, and but again, I digress. When I kind of saw Marvel Legends, that's when for me, that's when the game really changed. That's when it was like, all right, now we're getting serious, because it was like Marvel Legends. It was like Combiner Wars were hitting, and I was kind of like not really that much into other stuff. It was kind of those two things, and then Star Wars Black Series came very shortly after, guys. I remember seeing the very first wave of Star Wars Black Series figures at Walmart. The Boba, the Maul, the R2, and the X-wing Luke, and that's another thing I remember that day so vividly. And so as much stuff as I did miss out on, the Black Series, I was there from the beginning. So that's it. Um, but I think that's gonna be it for now, because I think that's really the story that I wanted to share with you guys, and just about getting back into it. If you guys want to hear about uh, getting into like Black Series, finding the first wave, how did I start my collection, or if you want to hear where did the wrestling figures or like NECA, or buying my first import, uh, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more, guys, I got tons of these stories. I got tons of stuff to share with you from my 20 plus years of collecting, both times, both periods of my life, younger and older. I got tons of stories for that. Like I said, if you guys like these videos, make sure you like the video. Make sure you let me know, and I'll keep bringing. I'm still doing the clapping thing. I can't stop. But yeah, if you want more content like this, like I said, like the video. And that way I'll know. Or let me know in the comments. Say, hey, I like this. I want to hear about this. Um, I said I got some wild stories that you guys cannot even imagine. I promise you. I promise you. But I think that's gonna do it. Thank you so much. Hopefully you like this. Hopefully you're still with the flow of the video. Again, hoping for 10 likes on this video. If we could do that, I think that would be great. If you're not already and you like what you see, subscribe, tap the notification bell, all that good stuff. Also, if I remember, I'll put the links. Make sure you join us in the Clickbait Wrestling Facebook group and the Sanctuary Facebook group. Make sure you join us there, and we do live shows, and all those details will be in the group. So really, just head over on Facebook and join the groups, and it's really going to be it. So thank you so much, guys. You guys are an amazing audience, as always. I have been Matitude22. You guys have been awesome, and I will see you next time. Bye.